The stars were bright that night, scattered across the endless sky like diamonds in black velvet. On the royal planet of Zithera, the alien capital gleamed with towers of crystal and floating bridges that hummed with energy. It was a city that humans could hardly imagine, filled with beings whose forms were both beautiful and strange. Among them was Princess Lysera, the youngest daughter of the High Council, who had spent centuries turning down all suitors. Many alien princes and dignitaries had tried to win her favor, but Lysera had never found anyone worthy of her respect or her trust. Humans were considered a primitive species on most galactic charts. Their technology was simple, their societies young, and their biology fragile by alien standards. Many aliens regarded humans with curiosity, some with disdain. Yet a human ship had appeared at Zithera's orbit unexpectedly, its hull battered and smoke curling from its engines. It was not unusual for aliens to encounter explorers, but the ship's arrival was sudden, unannounced, and alarming. The High Council summoned the princess immediately. She arrived in the central hall, her tall frame radiant, her violet eyes scanning the anxious advisors. "A human vessel has entered orbit," the chief minister said gravely. "It is damaged and we have no records of its origin. We do not know their intentions." Lysera's eyes narrowed. "Humans," she said, her voice was calm but sharp. "They are unpredictable. Make sure our defenses are ready, but do not attack unless provoked. I wish to see this human myself." By the time the shuttle landed, a crowd had gathered to observe the rare event. The human who emerged was small compared to the aliens around him, wiry but unbroken. His brown hair was messy and his suit was singed from the crash. He carried no weapons. He looked at the alien crowd with a mixture of awe and determination. His name was Kale, and he was alone. Lysera watched silently as Kale approached the palace gates. Unlike the others, he did not bow excessively or try to flaunt his strength. Instead, he walked with a steady confidence, his eyes meeting hers without fear. The crowd murmured in surprise. This human dared to act with dignity in a world where most humans would cower. The princess was intrigued but not yet impressed. "Why are you here?" she asked, her voice echoing in the high hall. Kale bowed slightly, a gesture of respect. "I come in peace," he said. "My ship was damaged during a research mission. I need repairs and permission to leave Zithera safely." Lysera studied him for a long moment. He did not lie, and he did not overstate himself. There was honesty in him that many aliens lacked. The chief minister whispered to her, "Your Highness, humans are not known for diplomacy. We must be cautious." Lysera shook her head. "Caution is always needed, but we cannot judge someone before seeing what they offer. Bring him to the observation chambers. I will meet him there privately." Kale was led through corridors filled with light and floating platforms. The architecture was unlike anything he had ever seen. Every surface shimmered, every curve seemed alive, as if the city itself was breathing. Yet he did not marvel openly. He understood that Lysera would judge him by more than wonder. When he entered the chamber, Lysera was waiting, seated on a crystalline throne. She looked down at him with cool, calculating eyes. "I have met many aliens who sought my favor," she said. "They offered wealth, power, or flattery. What can a human offer that is worth my attention?" Kale straightened. "I offer knowledge and courage," he said. "I do not seek your favor, princess. I seek only to prove that humans, though young, can meet the challenges of the galaxy." Lysera tilted her head, intrigued. Few had spoken to her so directly. Most would have cowered, begged, or lied. Kale's honesty was refreshing. "Prove it, then," she said. "If you are as capable as you claim, the galaxy itself will be your test. But know this, failure has consequences." Kale nodded. "I understand." Over the next days, Lysera observed him closely. Humans were fragile compared to aliens, but Kale displayed qualities that no alien suitor had ever shown: ingenuity, resilience, and adaptability. When a sudden storm swept over the city, he found ways to stabilize the damaged energy conduits using only his human tools. When the alien scholars debated intricate calculations for a planetary defense system, he proposed a solution based on principles alien physics had overlooked. His presence began to stir curiosity among the court. Advisors whispered about his bravery, the guards admired his quick thinking, and even other nobles began to take notice. Lysera, however, remained cautious. She did not reward actions lightly. She had been burned before by those who sought her favor only for personal gain. Kale's purpose seemed different, but she would not allow emotion to cloud her judgment. One evening, the princess and the human were summoned to the council chambers for an unexpected mission. A rogue asteroid was on a collision course with a nearby colony. Alien technology alone could not prevent the disaster in time. The High Council turned to Lysera. "Your Highness," the chief minister said, "we need someone to lead the operation. A human's creativity may provide the solution we lack." Lysera glanced at Kale. "Are you ready?" she asked. Kale's eyes sparkled with determination. "Yes, Princess, I will do whatever it takes." They traveled to the asteroid aboard a sleek interceptor, Lysera observing silently as Kale analyzed the situation. His human mind worked quickly, finding angles and solutions that surprised even the alien engineers. He proposed a daring maneuver, a coordinated diversion using small, precise energy pulses to alter the asteroid's trajectory. It was risky, but the calculations were sound. The crew hesitated, fearing the human's audacity. Lysera spoke firmly. "We will follow his plan. I trust his judgment." With careful precision, Kale executed the plan. Energy pulses shot from the interceptor's devices, striking the asteroid at calculated intervals. The massive rock began to shift its path inch by inch toward a safe trajectory. The alien engineers watched in awe as the impossible became possible. When the asteroid safely passed the colony, cheers erupted throughout the ship. Lysera's eyes met Kale's, and for the first time a faint smile crossed her face. Not a smile of affection, but one of respect. She had witnessed bravery, intelligence, and leadership, a combination she had never seen from any alien suitor. Back at Zithera, word of the human's success spread quickly. The princess who had rejected all suitors now had a reason to reconsider. Kale had done more than survive among aliens. He had proved that humans, despite their perceived weaknesses, could face challenges no one else could. Lysera, however, remained composed. She did not speak of favor or friendship yet. She knew the road ahead was still long. Many tests, both of character and courage, awaited Kale. She had seen sparks of greatness, but only time would tell if he could truly rise to the level she demanded. In the quiet of her chambers that night, Lysera pondered the human before her. His determination, his clarity, and his unwavering sense of ethics were unlike anything she had encountered. She had rejected countless aliens, but this human made her reconsider the nature of strength, courage, and loyalty. Perhaps in this galaxy full of wonder, humans had a place not merely as observers but as equals. And so, the stage was set. The princess who had once dismissed all others now watched closely as this human began a journey that could change the balance of power, the understanding of life itself, and the way aliens viewed humanity forever. Kale, unaware of the weight of the future on his shoulders, prepared for the trials to come, guided by nothing but his wit, courage, and unwavering resolve. The stars outside the palace windows twinkled like silent witnesses, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. For in the months ahead, the actions of a single human would challenge centuries of assumptions and perhaps, for the first time, force an alien princess to truly reconsider what made someone worthy. The success of the asteroid mission had changed everything. The alien court buzzed with conversations, whispers of admiration for the human, Kale, spreading quickly. Yet the princess remained composed. Her respect had grown, but she did not yet trust him completely. Leadership, she knew, was more than solving one problem. It was the test of character under relentless pressure. Kale, meanwhile, was not content to rest on his success. His mind was restless, always analyzing, always questioning. He explored Zithera's archives and libraries, fascinated by the alien technology and history. He marveled at the way the Zitherans had adapted to a planet that shifted constantly under the influence of twin suns, how they built floating cities and harnessed energy in ways humans had only dreamed of. Despite his curiosity, Kale never flaunted his knowledge. He asked questions politely, listened intently, and worked with the alien scholars, learning their methods while offering his own perspectives. Slowly, he became not just a guest, but a contributor. Lysera watched all of this carefully. She had seen humans before, but none had ever approached learning with such humility and determination. She had seen bravery, but none had faced alien expectations with such composure. Still, she tested him further, for she knew that a single act of courage could not reveal the entirety of a being's character. One morning, the High Council issued a decree. A distant mining colony on Zithra's outer moon had gone silent. Communication satellites detected no activity, and automated monitoring systems reported irregular energy fluctuations. Lysera convened a meeting with the council. "The situation is unusual," she said. "We cannot ignore a colony that may contain valuable lives and resources. Kale, you will accompany us on this mission." The human nodded, determination in his gaze. "I will do everything I can to help," he said. The journey to the outer moon was long. The shuttle cut through violet-hued clouds of space gas, thrumming with alien engines that hummed like living creatures. Kale observed the planet and its moons, fascinated by their vast deserts of crystal sand and fields of luminescent flora. Despite the beauty, he sensed a hidden danger. The energy readings were erratic and strange, not natural, and not fully understood even by Zitharan scientists. When they arrived, the shuttle descended toward the mining colony. What greeted them was silence. Buildings were intact, but the lights were dim and no movement stirred. Kale's instincts told him something was wrong. He stepped out onto the cold metal surface, his boots leaving faint impressions, and examined the surroundings carefully. Lysera followed closely, her sharp eyes scanning for threats. "Stay alert," she warned. "We do not know what we are facing." As they moved deeper into the colony, signs of struggle became evident. Tools were scattered, machinery partially dismantled, and the faint smell of burnt energy lingered in the air. Kale crouched to examine a cracked console. Someone or something tampered with the systems, he observed, but not randomly. Whoever did this had knowledge of both human and Zitharan technology. Lysera's eyes narrowed. "Could it be pirates?" she asked. Kale shook his head. "No, pirates wouldn't be this precise. This is an experiment or a test." They pressed further into the colony, eventually finding the main control hub. The doors were sealed from the inside, and energy shields flickered with instability. Kale analyzed the mechanism and discovered a complex override system, far beyond human technology. But instead of panicking, he methodically examined the controls, learning from the alien schematics and applying his own understanding of logic and physics. Hours passed. Lysera observed silently, intrigued by his approach. Unlike most aliens, Kale did not rely on brute strength or intimidation. He reasoned through every problem, often asking questions the Zitharan engineers had overlooked. When the doors finally opened, they found the colony's central system still intact, but in a delicate state. Any wrong action could trigger a total shutdown. Kale moved carefully, guided by intuition honed through countless problem-solving situations. He bypassed the corrupted systems, rerouted energy, and stabilized the colony's power. Slowly, lights flickered back to life, machines hummed, and life support systems resumed operation. Lysera exhaled quietly, impressed despite herself. She had witnessed aliens with centuries of experience fail at simpler tasks than this human had handled. Kale's mind, she realized, was not limited by tradition or pride. He thought freely, logically, and creatively. But their relief was short-lived. As they explored deeper, an automated security drone suddenly activated, mistaking them for intruders. Its weapon systems powered up, and a pulse of energy shot across the hall. Kale reacted instantly, using a nearby energy conduit to block the pulse. Sparks flew, but no one was hurt. He then improvised a device to temporarily disable the drone. Lysera's heart raced. Many aliens would have panicked under such pressure, but Kale remained calm, precise, and focused, neutralizing threats without unnecessary risk. "You think quickly," she said quietly. He smiled faintly. "I have to. Lives depend on it." Finally, they reached the colony's central laboratory, where the source of the disruption became clear. A strange alien artifact, unknown to both human and Zitharan science, had activated within the energy core. Its pulses interfered with machinery, and its energy output was dangerously high. Kale examined it carefully, analyzing the patterns. "This is intelligent technology," he said. "It reacts to the systems around it. If we can understand its rhythm, we can contain it safely." Lysera watched as he devised a method to harmonize the artifact's energy with the colony systems. He created a temporary stabilizer, adjusting frequencies and calibrating energy outputs. Slowly, the artifact became stable, no longer threatening the colony. For the first time, Lysera saw the awe on the faces of her advisors and engineers. A human had achieved what they could not, and yet she remained thoughtful. "You are capable," she said, "but this is only the beginning. The galaxy is full of unknowns and not all challenges will be as solvable." Kale nodded. "I understand, but I will do my best, always." Their return to Zithra was quiet. Kale's reputation had grown, and whispers of admiration followed him through the palace halls. But Lysera did not speak of reward or recognition. She remained the same disciplined, composed princess, silently evaluating his character. She had seen courage, intelligence, and ingenuity, but she wanted to see loyalty, resilience under emotional strain, and the ability to inspire others. It was not long before such a test arrived. A neighboring system had entered political turmoil, with rebel factions threatening interstellar trade routes. The High Council deliberated and decided that Kale should accompany Lysera on a diplomatic mission to resolve the crisis. While he was human, the Council trusted his judgment and ability to adapt under pressure. The journey to the troubled system was perilous. Space storms swirled unpredictably, and pirate raids were common along the trade routes. Kale, however, navigated each obstacle with strategic thinking, coordinating with alien pilots and engineers to maintain safety while keeping schedules. His calm presence inspired confidence, and even skeptical alien diplomats began to trust him. During negotiations with the rebel leaders, Lysera observed Kale closely. She watched as he listened patiently, identified shared goals, and proposed solutions that balanced human and alien interests. His approach was neither aggressive nor submissive. He respected differences, yet he insisted on fairness and honesty. Slowly, the rebel factions agreed to a truce, amazed that a human, so young, so inexperienced in the galaxy by their standards, could mediate what seasoned alien diplomats had failed to resolve. Lysera felt a rare sense of pride, not for herself, but for what this human represented. Kale had proven that humans were capable of much more than most aliens imagined. Strength, she realized, was not measured by technology or raw power alone. It was measured by thought, courage, creativity, and the willingness to take responsibility when others could not. Upon returning to Zithra, Kale was greeted with respect and admiration. The princess, however, maintained her composure. She had witnessed his intellect, bravery, and diplomacy, but she knew the journey was not over. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries, dangers, and challenges that would test not only skill but character and heart. In the quiet of her chambers, Lysera reflected on the human. She had once dismissed all suitors, believing that no one could meet her standards. Yet Kale had changed her perspective. Not because he was human, not because he was different, but because he embodied qualities that were rare across all species: courage, intelligence, and unwavering integrity. Kale, unaware of the silent evaluation, focused on learning, growing, and preparing for the challenges ahead. Each mission, each decision, each moment of leadership strengthened his bond with the aliens around him. He earned respect not through force or charm, but through action, insight, and compassion. The stars over Zithra seemed brighter than ever. Lysera, watching from her tower, realized that the galaxy might finally be ready to see humanity in a new light. And Kale, with determination burning in his heart, was ready to face whatever the universe would throw at him next. For the human and the alien princess alike, the journey was far from over. Challenges lay ahead, some of them dangerous, some of them mysterious, but both were ready to confront them, together and apart, learning from each other in ways neither could have imagined. And thus the galaxy waited, holding its breath, as a single human continued to prove that strength was more than power. It was courage, intelligence, and the willingness to rise above expectation. The galaxy had grown quiet after the success of Kale's previous missions, but peace was always temporary. A mysterious signal had been detected at the edge of known space, a transmission so powerful that it interfered with communication systems across multiple star systems. The High Council called an emergency meeting, and Lysera knew that this challenge would test more than Kale's intelligence. It would test his courage, creativity, and ability to inspire trust in those who doubted him. "Kale," Lysera said, her violet eyes serious, "this is unlike anything you have faced before. The source is unknown, and the technology appears older than any civilization we have cataloged. Many would hesitate to act, but hesitation may cost lives across the galaxy." Kale nodded, determination evident in his stance. "I am ready, princess. We will face this together." The mission to investigate the signal was unprecedented. Lysera and Kale traveled aboard a hybrid human-Zitharan vessel, its hull reinforced with alien alloys and powered by a human-engineered energy core. The journey took them through uncharted space, past glowing nebulae and asteroid fields, each mile revealing wonders and dangers that tested their skills. As they approached the origin of the signal, an enormous structure appeared, floating silently in the void. It was neither ship nor planet, but something ancient and alive with energy. The surface was covered in glyphs and symbols that pulsed with light, and the hum of power vibrated through the vessel. Kale was mesmerized. This is incredible," he whispered. "It must be a relic from a civilization older than the Zitharans themselves." Lysera's expression was cautious. "Incredible, yes, but it is also dangerous. Approach carefully." The vessel's sensors struggled to penetrate the structure's defenses. Shields fluctuated unpredictably, and any misstep could trigger catastrophic energy surges. Kale immediately began analyzing the readings, cross-referencing his human knowledge with the alien data. Slowly, a plan began to form. He suggested using a combination of Zitharan energy modulation and human frequency mapping to stabilize the structure's shields, allowing them safe entry. Lysera followed his instructions precisely. It was a delicate operation, requiring exact timing and synchronization. The moment Kale initiated the sequence, energy arcs danced across the hull, and for a tense minute nothing happened. Then the shields aligned and the path opened. Inside, the structure was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, each filled with strange machinery and glowing symbols. Kale moved with careful precision, observing patterns in the energy flows and decoding glyphs as he went. Lysera stayed close, silently impressed. Never had she seen a being, human or alien, navigate such complexity with clarity and focus. They soon discovered a central chamber, where a massive orb hovered, radiating a gentle, almost sentient light. The orb emitted pulses in rhythm with the signal they had detected. Kale approached it cautiously. "It's not hostile," he said. "It seems to react to thought almost as if it can sense intent." Lysera raised an eyebrow. "Intent? How do you know?" Kale smiled faintly. "I don't entirely, but I can feel it. It responds when I focus on understanding it, not controlling it." He placed his hands near the orb, analyzing the energy flow. Slowly, he realized that it was a repository of knowledge, a machine built to store the wisdom of an ancient civilization. But it had been dormant for millennia, damaged and unstable. Any attempt to extract data improperly could destroy the orb, or worse, the entire structure. Lysera's voice was steady but tense. "We need the knowledge. Countless lives could depend on it. Can you access it safely?" Kale's gaze was fixed on the orb. "I believe so, but we must proceed with patience and care." For hours, Kale worked, translating the alien glyphs, synchronizing their energy systems, and coaxing the orb into stability. Lysera observed, occasionally offering advice from her understanding of Zitharan technology. Together, they formed a unique team, the human providing creativity and intuition, the princess contributing experience and precision. At one point, a sudden energy surge knocked Kale to the ground. The orb pulsed violently, threatening to release destructive waves. Lysera reacted instantly, using her own control of the vessel's systems to absorb the energy. Kale struggled to recalibrate, sweat dripping from his brow. "We're close," he muttered. "I just need a moment." Lysera gave him space, her trust complete. This human had proven himself repeatedly, not by force or charm, but by intelligence, courage, and resilience. Slowly, with careful adjustments, Kale stabilized the orb. The energy waves softened, the chamber lights glowed steadily, and a flood of information streamed into their systems. They had done it. The knowledge of an ancient civilization, long thought lost, was now accessible. The information included advanced energy systems, interstellar navigation techniques, and strategies for peaceful resolution of interspecies conflicts. Kale's mind raced with possibilities, not just for Zithra, but for all humanity and alien civilizations. Lysera stepped forward, her usual composed demeanor softened by rare admiration. "Kale," she said, "you have done what many thought impossible. You have faced the unknown, solved problems we could not, and preserved knowledge that may change the galaxy." Kale looked at her humbly. "I did not do it alone. I had guidance and trust, Princess. Without your knowledge and support, I could not have succeeded." For the first time, Lysera allowed herself a full smile. It was not pride in her own judgment, but in recognition of his worth. She had tested countless beings across centuries, yet this human had proven that bravery, intelligence, and integrity could surpass even the most advanced alien abilities. The return to Zithra was met with celebration. News of Kale's achievement spread across star systems, transforming humanity's reputation. No longer were humans seen as fragile or primitive. They were innovators, problem solvers, and courageous allies. Lysera, however, maintained her composure in public. Privately, she allowed herself reflection. She had once dismissed all suitors, believing none could meet her standards. But Kale had shown her that worth was not measured by lineage, power, or species. It was measured by action, thought, and character. Days later, Kale and Lysera stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The twin suns of Zithra set in brilliant colors, casting shimmering light over the towers and bridges. Lysera spoke softly, her gaze on the horizon. "You have proven more than skill or courage. You have proven that humans can rise to challenges we never imagined they could face. You have earned respect not just from me, but from the galaxy itself." Kale smiled, a mixture of humility and pride. "I only wanted to do what was right," he said. "To help, that is all." Lysera turned to him, her eyes reflecting both seriousness and warmth. "And yet, that is enough, more than enough. You have shown me that strength is not measured in force, but in character, intelligence, and integrity. You have changed my understanding of humanity." Kale felt a sense of accomplishment unlike any he had known. It was not about recognition, reward, or power. It was about proving that humans, despite their perceived weaknesses, could rise to meet the challenges of the galaxy and earn the respect of even the most discerning alien minds. The months that followed were filled with collaboration, exploration, and learning. Kale continued to work alongside the Zitharans, bridging gaps between species, sharing human knowledge, and adapting to alien technology. Lysera often accompanied him, guiding him where needed but also learning from his perspective. Together, they inspired a new era of cooperation, where humans and aliens could learn from each other, respect each other, and face the galaxy's challenges as partners rather than adversaries. Lysera's trust in Kale was complete, and she began to advocate for human involvement in the High Council's decisions, arguing that humans brought unique perspectives and creativity that were invaluable. Kale, ever humble, accepted the responsibility but never sought personal glory. He focused on problem-solving, diplomacy, and bridging understanding between species. And so, the galaxy began to change. Humans, once seen as fragile and inexperienced, were now recognized as capable, courageous, and worthy. Kale's actions had reshaped perceptions, not through force or coercion, but through intelligence, bravery, and integrity. Lysera, reflecting on her centuries of experience, realized that she had learned as much from the human as he had learned from her. Respect, trust, and courage transcended species, and the galaxy had become a place where humans could truly shine. The stars above Zithra twinkled like eternal witnesses, as if acknowledging that a single human had proven that worth was not inherited but earned. And Kale, standing beside Lysera, knew that the journey was ongoing. There would always be new challenges, new mysteries, and new opportunities to demonstrate that humans, with their ingenuity and courage, could rise to meet the impossible. In the end, it was not victory in battle, nor wealth, nor power that marked Kale's achievement. It was the respect earned through action, the trust built through integrity, and the courage displayed in the face of the unknown. The galaxy would remember this human not as fragile or primitive, but as extraordinary. Lysera, once a princess who had rejected all suitors, now stood beside a human who had proven that humanity could be a force for understanding, innovation, and courage. Together, they looked toward the stars, ready to face the endless wonders and challenges that the universe had yet to reveal. And so, the story of Kale, the human who rose to meet the galaxy, and Lysera, the alien princess who learned to recognize true worth, became a legend, not of dominance or coercion, but of respect, intelligence, and courage. The galaxy had changed, and in that change, humans had found a place among the stars, guided not by power, but by wisdom, bravery, and the unyielding desire to do what was right.